Hey man, let's go hit the slopes. Let's go hit the slopes this weekend. Let's go hit the slopes. Let's go hit the slopes. Let's join the conga line of Subarus to go hit the slopes. Hey man, let's go hiking. I must climb that mountain. I must climb that mountain. I see a mountain, I must climb it. It revolves around my personality. I must climb that mountain. Yeah, man, that's why I'm moving to Denver. So I can hit the slopes. And I can climb, and I can get that mountain, and I can smoke weed every day. Did I tell you that in Colorado weed is legal? Yes, man, that's sick. Where are we gonna live in Denver? Oh, we'll figure that out. I'm sure it won't impact nature. It'll be one with nature, because I love nature. I love going hiking. What do you mean? What do you mean around Denver traffic? No, what do you mean? We're near the mountains, man. How would there be traffic? We're in the wilderness. It's Denver. Huh? No, that's not what I wanted. No. Even though I enjoy clowning on the Denver Bros, I genuinely think that their transit system, Denver RTD, is actually a good system, but there's a massive flaw that prevents it from being a great system. But before I talk about that, I have to tell a short story. So back in November, I made a quick visit to Toronto to visit some friends. I used Amtrak to get up to Buffalo and then met with a friend to get over to Toronto. When I was in Toronto, I wanted to change the ticket on a future Amtrak trip, but unfortunately when you're outside of the US, payments can sometimes not go through correctly with Amtrak frustratingly. So I'm happy to say that this video is sponsored by Surfshark. If I had Surfshark back when I was in Toronto, I could have easily changed my ticket and paid for a new one, no issues whatsoever. Surfshark is a VPN that allows you to change your internet address to different locations around the world using their servers. It's super useful for booking tickets or accessing local services that can't be accessed outside of a country. For me, I know next time I'm in another country, I'll definitely be enjoying having access to Surfshark for the peace of mind knowing that I won't have issues changing or booking tickets again because of out-of-country restrictions. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Speaking of Amtrak trips, back in 2022 in September, I went to the BART event in San Francisco and then took the California Zephyr all the way to Denver. I spent about 4 days in Denver and got to see most of the transportation system, but also visit friends, of course. Denver is an interesting city with many quirks. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's definitely not bad at all. Denver's transit system, the RTD, runs an interesting system with buses, light rail, and regional rail. In my opinion, the most interesting part of RTD is their regional rail system. It uses electric multiple unit trains and it's entirely electrified. This alone makes it a unique system in the United States because there's only one other transit system that has a similar layout. But what's super impressive about Denver's regional rail system is the A-line has 15-minute frequencies for majority of the day. But you're probably thinking, this video has a weird title for you to be praising RTD this much, and you'd be right because the schedules are good, the trains are good, but there's one big problem. See, modern transit systems are built for one of a few reasons. It's usually either to try to decrease traffic or people in cars, try to be more eco-friendly, or to do something unique that you can't really do with automobiles. But the one thing that all transit systems are designed to do is to take a rider from one important destination to another important destination. For example, going from where you live to where you work, or going from where you work to a bar with friends for a nice night out. But this is where RTD fails. The system lacks destinations. The stations and stops exist in limbo zones where you can ride somewhere, but once you arrive, there's nowhere to go. Walking and biking from these stops becomes a chore when everything is so sprawled out that it takes 5 to 10 minutes for even the first glimpse of civilization beyond a parking lot. And this is Denver's biggest issue with transit: terrible land use around stations. I should mention that this is a problem that plagues many transit systems across North America. Terrible land use around stations can be found from New Jersey to Florida, from Chicago to Long Island, and even inside of some of the most walkable cities like Boston. But RTD's land use is specifically terrible because unlike those other systems, RTD has the majority of their stations built as park and rides. When I visited Denver, I had a limited amount of time, but I visited as many stations as I could, and a couple of them are examples of what I'm talking about. First, take a look at Thornton and 88th. It's a stop on the N line. When you first arrive, you are greeted with a spacious parking lot and a very quiet bus stop. But maybe there are some houses nearby within walking distance. Well, kind of. It's like they wanted to make walking to the nearby neighborhood as difficult as possible, because they built the single platform facing away from the closest neighborhood, meaning that you have to walk all the way around the platform using a pedestrian tunnel and then back up to the closest neighborhood. Yeah, it's accessible, but why did they go through all the effort of making the walking way longer than it should be? Maybe this station is a one-off. Granted, the N line isn't that popular of a line, and the frequencies of a train are every 30 minutes. So let's take a look at a station on the most popular heavy rail line, the A line. Here is Central Park Station. No, not the New York one. This station is the third stop on your way to the airport, and it is very much in Denver's city limits. But like many of its RTD station brethren, it's currently built as a park and ride station, and seemingly it's repelling the other buildings away from it. This is so frustrating to see in person when I was there, because the A line is legitimately one of the best train services in the country with its frequency, rolling stock, and electrification. So it's painful for me to see the line so underutilized, especially when I'm currently living in a city with a similar system. Here in Philadelphia, I like to ride SEPTA's regional rail out to my model train club. Yes, I'm a massive dork. Anyway, the closest station to the club is a tiny station called Elkins Park Station. Even though Elkins Park Station technically has worse service than Central Park Station in Denver, it has a classic small downtown with stores, shops, and apartments all within a 5-minute walking distance of the station. This allows for something absolutely crazy. Most people that board SEPTA's regional rail actually walk to their stations. Here's a chart from a recent SEPTA study showing how most people get to their suburban regional rail station. I know for Europeans watching this sounds completely normal and sane, but I can tell you that here in North America, that is unfortunately not the norm. Building out our transit systems in this fashion can truly break people away from their car-heavy lifestyles. This also allows people to travel to different neighborhoods without the need for a car, because once you arrive, majority of what you need or want is within walking distance. But not only is this nicer for those who don't want to drive, this also decreases traffic in general since it removes another car from the road. Anyway, to get back to Denver, I have a lot of hope for RTD and Denver's land use in general. There seems to be a big push for more transit-oriented development, and many Denver planning documents have a good outline of what stations need to be filled in. Central Park Station was a prime candidate on the list too. Also, if you want Denver to continue and build more housing near transit, there's a big plot of land that's currently a golf course near 40th and Colorado Station that the city wants to turn into apartments. I recommend voting yes on public question 2.0 on your next Denver ballot measure, because you aren't going to be displacing anyone except for golf carts and dweebs with this one. Anyway, always fight for better transit, but remember that better transit means you have to have better destinations, and when building better destinations, transit-oriented development is the way to go. Remember, the New York subway looked like this originally in Queens, so we've got a lot to build. Thanks to my Patreons, and thanks for watching. I will always see you guys in the next one.